Fellas, let me ask you something. How many of you are out there running on fumes, but still pushing your body like you're in your 20s or 30s? And how many of you ignore the aches and the pains and the stress because in your mind you believe that slowing down means giving up? I get it. We were all raised to believe that a man's worth is somehow tied to how hard he works or how tough he is or how much pain he can endure. I get it. But let's keep it real. Pushing through pain, it's not strength. It's straight stubbornness. And one day, that stubbornness can really cost you. But what if I were to tell you that slowing down doesn't mean stopping? It just means getting smarter about how you move or work or live. I mean, would you be open to seeing what that looks like? But before we go any further, to think about your daily routine for a minute. Is there one thing, just one, that you do regularly that leaves you just utterly exhausted, but for whatever reason you keep doing it anyway? Drop it in the comments below. I want to see if we share some of the same struggles. And as we age, we tend to ignore the warning signs, that achy back or those stiff, creaky knees or that little shortness of breath going up steps. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. We choose to not listen to our bodies. We choose to silence them with painkillers or ice or just to continue to push forward like we're invincible. We tie our identity to what we used to be or what we were used to be able to do. I still see guys at the gym trying to lift the weights that they did in college. And I see some guys out here on the track taking off like a bat out of hell, running like they were still in high school. Or even at work, guys still trying to grind at work like they did when they were in their 30s. But let me ask you this. We're not in our prime anymore. And at what cost to us is this happening? We're not invincible. What's the last time you felt your body telling you, hey, I need a break? And did you listen or did you just ignore it and push on through? And if you did push through, what happened next? Because here's the truth, family. If you don't listen to your body when it tells you to slow down, it'll force you to slow down, but not on your own terms. And trust me, you'd rather be in control of that decision yourself. I had a friend once named Steve. Steve was a typical guy, like most of us. He worked 60 hours a week. Managed to get his workouts in, never missed a workout, was always there at the gym, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go. Ignored every little pain he ever had, would tell me about shoulder pains or back pains or knee pains that we just attributed to getting older. Until one day, Steve didn't show up at the gym. Odd. We'd been going to the gym for years. Contact him and get in touch with his wife. Come to find out, Steve had a major health scare. I'm not going to get into particulars, but he had a major health scare, and it changed everything. I mean, no more going to the gym. Sorry, that's gone. And do you know what he told me when he got out of the hospital? He said, if I just slowed down and taken care of myself earlier, I wouldn't be dealing with this mess now. The thinking is we were already taking care of ourselves. We were, but we were ignoring. It's sort of like that check engine light in your car. Just because your car keeps running doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and see why that light is on. Get that issue addressed. And we didn't just wake up one day and decide to ignore our health. This mentality that we carry, it's been engraved into us. I mean, stop and think about it. Society rewards strength and endurance, not balance. You know, the harder you push, the more people respect you. The stronger you are, the more people respect you. The harder you're able to work, the more people respect you. But the moment you start to slow down, you get labeled as being washed up and soft. Yep, happens to the best of us. I watch it happen to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Now it's happening to LeBron. You know, and our grandfathers and forefathers, they didn't have the luxury of self-care like we do today. They worked themselves into the ground because they had to. They had no choice. They had no alternative. But us, we have choices. We have so many choices. The problem is we still carry that mentality that they carried. And men, we aren't taught to prioritize, especially not our health. Now, women, oh yeah. They'll schedule regular mammograms and pap smears and get this checked and get that checked. And they talk about their problems and issues with their doctors. But we as men, we do not do that. We're cavemen. We ignore, suppress, keep it moving. That's just what we do as men. That's what we've been taught. Let me ask you this. If your best friend came to you and he told you that he was constantly tired and in pain, and he felt like he was burning out, felt like he didn't have much left, what advice would you give him? Now, why don't you take that same advice for yourself? And then one day we wake up and it's too late to fix what we broke. Think on that for a minute. And there are consequences for ignoring aches and pains. There really are. For instance, an injury that doesn't heal. Like a simple, say, sprained ankle that should have taken maybe a week to heal, but it didn't. And for whatever reason, we didn't go and get it checked out. We continued to operate on it. And now it turns into chronic pain. Can't get rid of it. And it bothers you all the time because we never let it heal. And I've actually seen people do that. And what about burnout? We don't speak of that too much as men because we're afraid to admit that getting burned out we think of it as a weakness, but it's really not. And burnout drains every part and aspect of your life. So you'll be exhausted, but instead of adjusting, we just grind it out and keep going. And so as a result of that type of mentality and actions, everything in our life suffers. You know, our work suffers, our family life, and other outside obligations also suffer. We got to rethink our health, fellas, you know. And then there's those serious health conditions, you know, the ones no one likes to talk about. Heart disease and high blood pressure and diabetes and prostate cancer and all these other conditions that affect us directly. And these don't just come out of nowhere, you know. They don't just pop up one day. Well, they do just pop up one day, but they're the result of years of neglect coming back to haunt us. One day, hopefully not, you're going to look back and wish that you'd taken better care of yourself. The problem is that by that time, you won't be able to do anything about it. You want to take care of those problems, or at least have them checked on before it gets to that point. While that check engine light is still on, because there'll come a time when that check engine light, it'll stop your whole car. I want you to do something for me, fam. Tonight before bed, take just 5 minutes, you know, to stretch and breathe deeply and check in on yourself. A little self-love, a little self-check. See how your body really feels. Just try it for me. And let me know in the comments how it felt. I know that for me, stretching is really, it relieves pain, truthfully, and it's calming. And slowing down doesn't mean stopping. It simply means learning how to move smarter. And it's something we all really need to learn. Here's a few tips to help you learn to move smarter. Redefine what strength looks like. It's not about how much you can lift. It's about longevity and mobility and keeping yourself active without pain. Because we're not going to be this age forever either. You know, you want to make sure that you do things that are going to increase your lifestyle, make your lifestyle better. You want to be able at 70 or 75 or even 80 to get around and move and still do the things that you enjoy. And that comes with how you treat your body now. And train smarter. We've got to learn to train smarter, not harder. We all carry that whole no pain, no gain. If it doesn't hurt, it's you're not getting stronger. I know I've heard these mantras my whole life. So we need to switch from those high impact type exercises to strength training. Don't get me wrong. Strength training is fine, but don't try to strength train like you did when you were back in high school or even college. Adjust for today. One of my problems that I used to have was I would get caught up about how much I used to lift back in college. And then I would have to remind myself, you see young guys in the gym and they're doing it and you're like, oh, that's nothing I can do. No, you can't. You used to be able to, but that was then and this is now. You have to account for now. And stretching, like I said, stretching is one of those things that we've got to incorporate into our lives. If you stop and think about something, if you've ever played any type of sports, organized sports, the first thing you do before you start practice is stretch. The first thing you do before you ever hit the playing field is stretch. Okay, so now stop and ask yourself, when was the last time you stretched? And you hit the playing field every day at work. And protect your joints. Oh God, don't punish them. They've taken enough punishment over the last however old you are. Got to take care of them. Got to take it. This is all we have. We get one body and it has to last us a lifetime. Don't view pain as a weakness because it's not. Pain is simply a warning sign that something is wrong or something is about to go wrong. And listen to that. It's not weakness. It's self-care. No different than going to the barber shop or any other thing that you do for self-care. Just make sure that whatever you do to take care of yourself, if it's something that you're doing that's hurting you, for instance, lifting heavy, and you're waking up with chronic shoulder pain or elbow pain, or you're jogging and your knees are hurting, make sure you adjust and start to do something else before you create permanent damage. You don't want that. And here's the most important fact of taking care of yourself, that's self-help when you get older. Prioritize recovery. Sleep is fundamental. You need rest. Our bodies need time to recover. Your mind needs that time. And a lot of us, because we burn the candle at both ends, we just do not take that time to recover properly. Hydration. A lot of us walk around in a chronic state of dehydration and we just don't realize it. We just don't drink enough water. Pop, soda pop, as some of you call it, energy drinks, things like that. They're liquid, but they have caffeine in them. And caffeine in itself is a diuretic, so it tends to make you pee out more fluid, which can dehydrate you. My wife was the one who actually got me onto hydration drinks that you mix into the little bottles of water. And I can honestly tell you that since I have started utilizing those, I feel a lot better. I really do. Hair looks better. Everything. Skin is softer. It always was handsome, but I have digressed. And stay active too. And it is very important to stay physically active. We tend to get older and slow down. And I think that, and this is my own personal opinion, when you stop moving, you start dying. sort of like a car. You could take a brand new car and sit it in the garage and don't start it and don't move it in 5 years. You got an old car. Things need to be moved and flexed and stretched, and we need to keep moving and be active. No, you don't need 2-hour gym sessions like you did in your 20s. That's not necessary, but you do need to get to the gym or your home gym. I have a home gym here. Walk, swim, play badminton, chase the grandkids. Hell, chase your wife. I chase my wife around all the time. But just stay strong, stay active. We're in this for the long run, fellas. Oh, yoga. Let me touch on yoga. And I always thought that yoga was not for me. Let's just say that. I didn't look at it as a real exercise. I'm sorry I didn't. And I still kind of don't, but it really is. My wife is the one who does yoga, and I've seen her do it. And I have a nephew who plays professional football. He's a linebacker, middle linebacker, and I'm not going to mention what team, but he actually does yoga. So let's stop thinking of yoga as a alternative sport. It's something that's really good. It's stretching, and it's really physical. It's hard, and it will get you where you need to be. So anyway, I want you to do something else for me, fellas. I want you to pick one of these changes and start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, today. And then come back here and tell me which one you picked and how it's working out for you. Let's be real. We've been lied to. We've been hoodwinked. We've been led around the corner. Slowing down doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't mean you're weak. And taking care of yourself doesn't mean that you're less than a man. But I can tell you this, ignoring your health and those signs and refusing to adjust, that's weakness. That's a real sign of weakness, because you're so worried about what everybody outside is thinking that you're not listening to that common sense, that inner voice telling you that, hey, something's going on and you need to address it. Or more commonly referred to as fear. So sometimes we just don't want to know what's going on. We know that, okay, something's not quite right. Something's off. But that fear in us just don't want to know. But I can tell you this, ignoring it won't make it go away. And you'd rather catch something while it can still be dealt with, as opposed to going to the doctor and he said, hey, damn, I wish you'd have came in 6 months earlier. So tell me this. What are you going to do about it? Now that you're armed with all this information, what are you going to do about it? What steps are you going to take to alleviate the problems, to get better, to take better care of your health? Because let me tell you something, if you don't, it could be a mistake that you make that costs you everything. And drop your thoughts down in the comments and let's have this conversation, because this is a conversation that we need to have. And not only have this time, we need to come back and revisit it to see if implementing those changes has really helped you and how it's benefited your life. And if you're really serious about making the changes, tell me in the comments, what's the one thing that you'll start doing differently this week? And as a tribe, a circle, a village, a family, let's hold each other accountable for our actions. And don't forget to check back next week, because we're going to be doing a video. We're going to be diving into the signs your body is breaking down, something that a lot of us need to really be able to recognize, because you don't want to miss that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody who could really benefit from this information contained. And family, I'm glad you pulled up a chair and bent to ear with your old unk. That's an old saying, bent an ear. Some of you may not even know what that means. But anyway, you're always welcome here. And if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to talk about or just chit chat on, drop it down in the comments. As always, I'm glad you came. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I'm Unc. Hey, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.